the universe is vast. So vast that it's almost impossible for us to fully grasp just how big it really is. Billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, and around those stars, countless planets, many of which, at least statistically, should be capable of supporting life. And yet, despite all this, there's one question that continues to haunt us. Where is everyone? If life is supposed to be so common, why haven't we found a single shred of undeniable evidence that we're not alone? No radio signals from distant civilizations, no alien spacecraft visiting us, no signs of advanced life anywhere in the cosmos. This contradiction, the overwhelming probability that intelligent alien life should exist, and the total lack of any clear proof that it does, is what we call the Fermi Paradox. It's one of the most fascinating and perplexing questions in science. This isn't just a matter of curiosity. It's a question that challenges our entire understanding of life and our place in the universe. Think about it. If we are truly alone, that means life is something extremely rare, maybe even unique. But if we're not alone, if extraterrestrial civilizations do exist, then why haven't we found any sign of them? Could they be deliberately avoiding us? Could they have already come and gone? Or is there something much darker at play? Something that prevents civilizations from making contact at all? What's truly strange about the Fermi Paradox is that it's not just some wild sci-fi speculation. This is a real, scientific mystery. When physicist Enrico Fermi first posed the question back in 1950, he wasn't trying to write a science fiction novel. He was pointing out a logical inconsistency. The sheer number of stars and planets in the universe suggests that intelligent life should be out there, and yet, all we see is silence. And it's not for lack of trying. Scientists have been listening for extraterrestrial signals for decades. The SETI Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence program has scanned the skies, hoping to catch even a whisper from a distant civilization. Space probes like Voyager 1 and 2 have carried messages from Earth, just in case they ever cross paths with an alien species. We've even sent radio signals into space, like a cosmic message in a bottle, hoping that someone, somewhere, might be listening, and still, nothing. This eerie silence raises an unsettling thought. What if the universe is far emptier than we ever imagined? What if intelligent life is so rare that we really are the only ones? Or worse, what if there's a reason why civilizations don't last long enough to make contact? Could there be something out there that prevents advanced life from surviving? Of course, there's another possibility. Maybe the problem isn't that the universe is empty. Maybe we're just not looking the right way. After all, our understanding of the cosmos is still in its infancy. We've only been actively searching for signs of intelligent life for about a century. Nothing compared to the billions of years that the universe has existed. Perhaps extraterrestrial civilizations do exist, but they communicate in ways we can't yet detect. Maybe they're using technology far beyond anything we can imagine, or maybe they don't even want to be found. And then there's the unsettling idea that they've already noticed us, and for one reason or another, they've chosen to stay silent. The Fermi Paradox forces us to confront some of the most profound questions we can ask. Are we alone in the universe? If we aren't, where is everyone else? And if intelligent civilizations do exist, why haven't we made contact? Are they watching us from afar? Have they already come and gone? Or is there something about the nature of life itself that keeps us isolated? The answer to these questions, if we ever find one, could change everything. It could reshape the way we see ourselves, our planet, and our place in the grand cosmic picture. But until we do, we're left with the silence and the mystery. For now, all we can do is keep looking up, searching, and wondering. Because whether we're alone in the universe or just one of many civilizations scattered across the stars, one thing is certain: the answer to the Fermi Paradox, whatever it may be, will redefine everything we know. The universe is big, and I don't just mean a lot of space out there big. I mean an almost incomprehensible, beyond human understanding kind of big. It's so vast that when we try to wrap our heads around the numbers, they stop feeling real. And yet, those numbers are the very reason the Fermi Paradox is so baffling. Because when you truly grasp the scale of the universe, it seems almost impossible that we could be alone. Let's break it down. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars. That's just one galaxy. And in the observable universe, there are an estimated 2 trillion galaxies. When you do the math, that's around 0 stars. A number so large it doesn't even feel real. And these stars aren't just floating out there alone. Most of them have planets. Thanks to modern space telescopes like Kepler and James Webb, we now know that planets are the norm, not the exception. In fact, the average star is expected to have at least one planet orbiting it. That means we're talking about trillions upon trillions of planets, many of which sit in the so-called habitable zone, the region around a star where conditions might be just right for liquid water, and therefore, life as we understand it. Even if only a tiny fraction of those planets are truly Earth, that still leaves millions, maybe even billions of potentially habitable worlds in our galaxy alone. And that's just based on what we know about life on Earth. There could be other forms of life thriving in environments we wouldn't even consider, like under the ice, covered oceans of moons such as Europa, or in the thick, crushing atmosphere of Venus. Statistically, life should be everywhere. It should be teeming throughout the cosmos, developing in countless ways, adapting to all sorts of environments. And given how long the universe has been around, 13.8 billion years, it seems likely that at least some civilizations should have emerged millions or even billions of years before us. If that's the case, some of them should have had plenty of time to develop advanced technology, maybe even colonize entire star systems. This idea isn't just a fun thought experiment, it's based on scientific probability. In 1961, astronomer Frank Drake came up with a way to estimate the number of active, communicative extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy. This became known as the Drake equation. The equation takes into account factors like the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars that have planets, the number of planets that could support life, the likelihood of life developing, the probability of intelligent life emerging, how many civilizations develop technology that allows them to communicate across space, and finally, how long these civilizations tend to survive. Even if we're extremely conservative with our estimates, the numbers still suggest that the Milky Way alone should have hundreds, maybe even thousands of intelligent civilizations. And yet, when we point our telescopes at the stars, we hear nothing but silence. That's what makes the Fermi Paradox so puzzling. Based on the sheer size of the universe and the probability of life forming, we should be detecting something: alien signals, distant megastructures, signs of technology, or even evidence of past civilizations. But so far, we've found nothing. Some people argue that we just haven't been looking long enough. After all, human civilization is young. We've only had radio technology for about 120 years, and we've only been searching for extraterrestrial signals for a few decades. The galaxy is 100,000 light years across, meaning that even if intelligent life is out there, their signals might not have had time to reach us yet. Others suggest that we might be looking in the wrong way. Maybe extraterrestrial civilizations don't use radio waves to communicate. Maybe they use some kind of advanced quantum signals, or maybe they communicate in ways we can't even begin to comprehend. After all, if an alien species is millions of years ahead of us technologically, it's possible that we wouldn't even recognize their form of communication. But even if that's true, there's still the question of physical evidence. If advanced civilizations have been around for millions of years, they should have left behind traces, massive space stations, artificial megastructures like Dyson spheres that harvest energy from stars, or even just robotic probes exploring the galaxy. Yet, we see no signs of anything like that. This silence is why the Fermi Paradox is so haunting. The numbers tell us that life should be common, and yet, as far as we can tell, we are completely alone in an unfathomably vast cosmos. It's a contradiction that scientists, philosophers, and thinkers have struggled with for decades. Could we be the first intelligent civilization in the universe? Or is there something we don't understand? Something that prevents civilizations from surviving long enough to make contact? The deeper we look into space, the bigger the mystery grows. The universe should be full of life. So why is it so quiet? The universe should be teeming with life, based on the sheer number of stars, planets, and the conditions that seem ripe for biological development. We should have encountered evidence of extraterrestrial civilizations by now, but we haven't. And that silence isn't just eerie. It suggests that something is blocking life from reaching the point where it can communicate, travel between the stars, or make itself known. This is where the Great Filter theory comes in. The Great Filter is the idea that somewhere along the path from simple life to an advanced spacefaring civilization, there is a nearly impossible hurdle, something that stops most, if not all, life from progressing beyond a certain point. It could be a biological limitation, a self-destructive tendency, or even an external cosmic event that wipes out civilizations before they can spread. The question is, where is the filter? Possibility number 1, the filter is behind us. One optimistic interpretation is that the Great Filter is something we've already passed. In this case, life itself, especially intelligent life, is extremely rare, meaning that just getting to the point of being a technologically advanced species is incredibly unlikely. Think about Earth. Life has existed here for over 3.5 billion years, yet modern humans have only been around for about 300,000 years, and our technological civilization, only about 10,000 years old. That's just a tiny fraction of Earth's history. If intelligence were common, it seems like it should have emerged multiple times across different species. And yet, as far as we know, we are the only species on Earth to develop advanced technology. Maybe complex life is incredibly difficult to evolve. While microbial life might be common, perhaps the jump from simple bacteria to intelligent beings is staggeringly rare. This would mean that while the universe may be full of planets with primitive life, we may be one of the only species to have ever made it past that stage. If that's true, then the silence of the cosmos makes sense. We are simply one of the lucky ones to have made it this far. Possibility number 2, the filter is ahead of us. This is where things get unsettling. What if the Great Filter isn't something we've already overcome? What if it's still waiting for us in the future? This would mean that civilizations do emerge, but for some reason, they don't last. Maybe every advanced society eventually destroys itself, whether through war, environmental collapse, artificial intelligence gone rogue, or some other catastrophe we haven't even imagined yet. Human history itself shows how fragile civilization can be. Our own species has come dangerously close to self-destruction multiple times. Nuclear war, climate change, pandemics, and resource depletion are all threats that could potentially end us. Maybe other civilizations reach a similar point and simply don't make it past the hurdles of self-inflicted catastrophe. Another possibility is that the universe is full of dangers we haven't encountered yet. Cosmic disasters like asteroid impacts, gamma ray bursts, or supernova could wipe out planets before life has a chance to develop far enough to escape. If the universe is a hostile place, then maybe intelligent civilizations do emerge. but they never last long enough to explore the stars. Possibility number 3. The filter is a natural limitation. Another scenario is that civilizations do advance, but there is some natural limitation that prevents them from spreading or making contact. Perhaps space travel is far more difficult than we imagine. We assume that advanced species should colonize the galaxy, but what if the distances between stars are simply too vast? If interstellar travel is impossible or unsustainable, then even the most intelligent species might remain confined to their homeworld. Another idea is that technology itself has a limit, that no matter how advanced a civilization becomes, it will always be bound by physical laws that prevent it from achieving certain breakthroughs. Maybe faster than light travel is impossible. Or maybe there's some unknown barrier preventing long-term survival beyond a home planet. There's also the possibility that alien civilizations evolve in ways that make contact unlikely. Maybe intelligence doesn't necessarily lead to curiosity or expansion. Perhaps alien minds are completely different from ours, and their version of progress looks nothing like what we expect. Possibility number 4. We're just too early. One last possibility is that we're simply among the first intelligent civilizations to emerge. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, but complex life on Earth only appeared a few 100 million years ago. It's possible that we're early pioneers, and that in the vast timeline of the cosmos, intelligent civilizations are only now beginning to arise. If this is true, then the universe may be full of potential civilizations that haven't yet reached the stage where they can communicate or travel between stars. This idea suggests that in the distant future, the galaxy could be teeming with life, but right now, we're in a kind of silent period before that explosion of interstellar civilizations happens. If this is the case, then future generations of humans, or our robotic descendants, might eventually discover a universe brimming with other intelligent beings. So, where does that leave us? The Great Filter remains one of the most unnerving explanations for the Fermi Paradox, because it suggests that something is preventing civilizations from making themselves known. Whether that's because life is rare, civilizations destroy themselves, or there are natural limitations, it raises an important question for us as a species. If the filter is ahead of us, what can we do to survive it? If civilizations tend to self-destruct, then our biggest challenge might not be exploring the stars. It might be learning how to sustain ourselves without destroying our own planet or each other. If the filter is a technological or physical limitation, we may need to rethink our expectations for what interstellar travel or long-term survival in the cosmos looks like. And if we've already passed the Great Filter, then we may be among the luckiest civilizations in the universe, a rare species that has made it beyond the barriers that stop most life from advancing. If that's the case, then perhaps our responsibility is to ensure that we don't waste that opportunity. Whatever the answer may be, one thing is clear: if the Great Filter is real, then it's one of the most important questions humanity will ever face. Are we alone because intelligent life is rare? Or are we on a dangerous path that many civilizations before us have failed to escape? The truth is, we don't know. But as we continue searching for answers, the mystery of the Great Filter forces us to think not just about the universe, but about ourselves, about our own survival, our own future, and what it means to be intelligent beings in an empty sky. So far, we've established that, based on sheer probability, life should be common in the universe. We've also explored the unsettling idea of the Great Filter, which suggests that something either in the past or the future prevents intelligent civilizations from spreading. But what if the answer to the Fermi Paradox isn't that civilizations aren't out there? What if they're just choosing to remain silent? This idea is just as eerie as the possibility of being alone. What if extraterrestrial civilizations exist, but they're deliberately avoiding contact? What if, rather than being empty, the universe is like a vast, dark forest filled with intelligent beings who all have a very good reason to keep quiet? The zoo hypothesis. Are we being watched? One of the most intriguing theories is called the zoo hypothesis. This idea suggests that advanced civilizations exist, but they have chosen to observe us from a distance, much like how we observe animals in a wildlife preserve. Think about it. When we discover a new species in nature, we often try to avoid interfering with it. We watch from a distance, taking notes, studying behaviors, and limiting our interactions so we don't disrupt the ecosystem. What if an advanced extraterrestrial civilization sees us in the same way? If a civilization is millions of years ahead of us in technology, they might see us as primitive, not yet ready to be integrated into the galactic community. They might be waiting for us to reach a certain level of advancement before making contact. Maybe they want to see if we can overcome our own self-destructive tendencies first. If the zoo hypothesis is true, it would mean that aliens are already here, not in a direct, physical way, but through observation. They could be using technology far beyond our understanding, hidden in deep space, cloaked from our detection. If they're watching us, the real question is, what are they waiting for? The dark forest hypothesis. Are we in danger? While the zoo hypothesis is an optimistic idea, that aliens are just waiting for the right moment to reach out, the dark forest hypothesis is far more chilling. It suggests that the reason we don't hear from extraterrestrial civilizations is because they are actively hiding out of fear. This idea comes from the novel The Dark Forest by Liu Cixin, and it paints a terrifying picture of the universe. Imagine that space is like a vast, dark forest filled with hunters. Each intelligent species is a hunter, creeping through the trees, knowing that they are not alone, but unable to see who else is out there. In this forest, the safest thing to do is stay silent. Why? Because you don't know what kind of civilization is listening in this scenario. Any civilization that reveals itself runs the risk of being destroyed by a more advanced species. It's a grim perspective, but it's based on an unsettling idea. When two civilizations meet in the universe, one may see the other as a threat, and rather than risk being eliminated, the logical decision might be to strike first. Think about how human history has played out when two vastly different civilizations have met. More often than not, the more technologically advanced civilization dominates the weaker one. What if this rule applies on a cosmic scale? What if the first sign of alien life we detect is actually a warning, a signal from a civilization that was wiped out after revealing itself? If this is true, it could explain why we haven't found any evidence of alien civilizations. The ones that survived learned to stay hidden. They might be out there, spread across the galaxy, living in silence, avoiding detection at all costs. And that raises a terrifying question. If we've been broadcasting our presence into space for decades, have we already made a mistake? And that raises a terrifying question. If we've been broadcasting our presence into space for decades, have we already made a mistake? Could they be here already? Another possibility is that extraterrestrials have already visited Earth, but we just don't recognize it. This idea has fueled conspiracy theories for years, from UFO sightings to claims that ancient civilizations were guided by alien intelligence. But putting aside speculation, there is a real question to consider. Would we even know if an advanced civilization had already made contact? Imagine a species millions of years ahead of us in evolution. Their technology might be so advanced that it looks like magic to us. They might not need spacecraft or physical bodies. They could exist as pure consciousness, as artificial intelligence, or as something beyond our comprehension. And then there's the unsettling idea that they aren't physical beings at all, that they exist in some kind of simulation or virtual state, living in a form we could never recognize. If that's the case, then searching for radio signals or giant alien megastructures might be pointless. They could be all around us, operating on a plane of reality completely separate from ours. Human communication is based on sound, light, and radio waves. But what if aliens communicate in a completely different way? Maybe they use quantum signals, gravitational waves, or some form of communication we haven't discovered yet. If an advanced species has developed a method of transmitting information across the universe that we simply haven't figured out, then we might be surrounded by signals without even knowing they're there. Another issue is time. The universe is billions of years old, and even if alien civilizations have arisen, they might have existed millions of years ago and gone extinct before we ever had a chance to find them. Or maybe the opposite is true. Maybe intelligent life emerges only rarely, and we're just one of the first civilizations to reach this stage. So, where are they? The fact remains that we don't know why the universe is so silent. The theories range from hopeful, aliens are waiting for us to mature, to terrifying, they're hiding out of fear. But one thing is certain, if we are truly alone, that would be just as mind-blowing as finding an advanced civilization. Because if we are alone, it means that life, at least life capable of thought, creation, and exploration, is a cosmic anomaly. It means that we might be one of the only intelligent species to ever emerge. And if that's true, then our responsibility as a species becomes much greater. We would not just be another civilization in a galaxy full of others. We would be the only known torchbearers of intelligence in an otherwise empty cosmos. But if the silence is because other civilizations are out there deliberately staying hidden, then we have to ask ourselves, do we want to make contact, or should we stay silent too? Either way, the Fermi Paradox remains one of the greatest mysteries of our time. Are we alone, or is the universe hiding something we're not ready to see? Until we have an answer, we're left with nothing but questions and the vast, endless silence of the cosmos. For as long as humanity has looked up at the stars, we've wondered if we're alone. The search for extraterrestrial life is not just a scientific quest. It's a question that could redefine everything we know about ourselves, our origins, and our place in the universe. But let's consider the possibility that one day we do find them. What happens next? Would the discovery of intelligent alien life be the most extraordinary moment in human history? Or would it bring fear, uncertainty, and possibly even danger? Would we be prepared to handle the reality of not being alone? How would we react? The moment we confirm the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence, the world as we know it would change forever. Governments, scientists, religious leaders, and ordinary people would all have to confront a reality we've only imagined in books and movies. First, there's the scientific impact. The discovery of intelligent life would instantly answer one of the biggest questions in science. Are we unique? If another civilization exists, it would mean that life has emerged at least twice in the universe, meaning it's likely happened countless times. We would have to rethink our understanding of biology, evolution, and the conditions necessary for life. Then there's the philosophical and religious impact. How would different cultures and belief systems react to the knowledge that we are not alone? Would it shake the foundations of human spirituality, or would it reinforce the idea that life is part of a greater, interconnected universe? Would we see aliens as fellow cosmic travelers, or would their existence make us question our own significance? And then there's the social and political impact. How would world governments respond? Would nations unite in the face of this discovery, or would fear and suspicion drive us apart? If an advanced civilization made contact, who would speak for humanity? Would countries compete for control over communication, or would we finally realize that, in the grand scheme of things, we are all just one species, on one small planet. Would contact be peaceful or hostile? The idea of meeting an alien species is thrilling, but it also raises an unsettling question. Would they be friendly? Science fiction has painted both optimistic and terrifying pictures of first contact. Some stories imagine peaceful, benevolent extraterrestrials eager to share knowledge and technology with us. Others depict brutal conquerors seeking to dominate or destroy. But what does science suggest? One argument in favor of peaceful contact is that any civilization advanced enough to travel across the stars has likely overcome the self-destructive tendencies that threaten civilizations like ours. A species that has survived long enough to develop interstellar travel might have learned cooperation, diplomacy, and peaceful coexistence as a necessity for survival. On the other hand, some scientists, including physicist Stephen Hawking, have warned that reaching out to alien civilizations could be extremely dangerous. If history has taught us anything, it's that when a more technologically advanced civilization meets a less advanced one, the results are often catastrophic for the weaker party. Just look at human history. Colonization, conquest, and exploitation have played out time and time again when one group encounters another. If an alien species sees us as insignificant, or worse, as a potential threat, it's possible they could act in their own self-interest. And given that they would likely be millions of years ahead of us in technology, there would be little we could do to stop them. Then again, they might not need anything from us at all. If they've mastered space travel, what could Earth possibly offer them? Resources. They could mine asteroids or energy-rich gas giants instead. Land. They might already inhabit worlds far more suitable for their biology, which leads to another possibility. What if they don't even notice us? What if we're not interesting to them? We tend to assume that if an advanced alien civilization exists, they would be as curious about us as we are about them. But what if we're nothing more than background noise to them? Imagine an ant colony on the side of a highway. The ants go about their daily lives, completely unaware that just a few feet away, humans are driving cars, building skyscrapers, and sending satellites into space. We don't communicate with the ants, not because we're hostile, but because we don't see them as intelligent in a way that's relevant to us. What if we are the ants? An alien civilization could be so advanced that we're not even worth their attention. Maybe we're just another primitive species in a universe full of intelligent life. They might be aware of us, but uninterested in making contact. Or worse, they might be observing us the way scientists observe animals in the wild. Maybe they've decided that interfering with our development would be irresponsible, much like how we try to avoid disturbing untouched ecosystems on Earth. What if we find them first? Up until now, we've considered what would happen if aliens found us. But what if we make the first discovery? Imagine that one day we detect an artificial radio signal coming from a distant star. It's unmistakably intelligent evidence that another civilization exists. We don't know where they are, what they look like, or how advanced they might be. But we know they're out there. What should we do? Would we try to respond? And if we did, what would we say? How would we communicate with a species that may not share our biology, our way of thinking, or even our concept of language? Some scientists believe we should stay silent, that responding could put us at risk. Others argue that we have nothing to lose. After all, if an advanced species already knows we're here, staying quiet won't change anything. What if they're already here? There's also the possibility, however unlikely, that we don't need to look to the stars because extraterrestrials have already visited Earth. While there is no confirmed scientific evidence of alien contact, there are countless reports of UFO sightings, unexplained aerial phenomena, and even ancient artifacts that some believe hint at extraterrestrial influence in our past. Could it be that aliens have been observing us for centuries choosing to remain unseen? Governments have declassified numerous UFO-related documents in recent years, raising even more questions. If there is evidence of extraterrestrial life visiting Earth, has it been hidden from the public? And if so, why? So, what happens next? The truth is, we don't know. The discovery of alien life, whether microbial life on Mars or an advanced civilization across the galaxy, would be the biggest revelation in human history. It would force us to rethink everything we know about life, intelligence, and our place in the cosmos. Would it unite humanity or divide us? Would it inspire us to explore further or make us fearful of the unknown? Would we find allies among the stars or a universe that is cold and indifferent? We don't have the answers yet. But one thing is certain, if and when we finally make contact, it will change everything. Until that day comes, all we can do is keep searching, keep wondering, and keep looking up. Because whether we're alone or part of something much greater, the Fermi Paradox remains one of the greatest mysteries of our existence. The Fermi Paradox is one of the greatest mysteries of our time. It forces us to confront one of two possibilities. Either we are completely alone in the universe, or intelligent life is out there, and for some reason, it remains hidden from us. Either answer would be astonishing. If we are alone, then we are a cosmic anomaly, an impossibly rare occurrence in an otherwise lifeless universe. That would mean that everything we do, every action we take, carries immense significance. If life is this rare, then humanity has a profound responsibility to survive, to thrive, and to ensure that intelligence doesn't just flicker out in the darkness. But if we are not alone, then the mystery deepens. Why haven't we found evidence of other civilizations? Are they hiding? Have they already come and gone? Is the universe filled with intelligent life that simply doesn't communicate in ways we can detect? Or is there something even more unsettling, something that prevents civilizations from surviving long enough to make contact? For decades, scientists have searched the skies for answers. We've listened for signals, explored distant planets, and sent out messages in the hopes that someone, somewhere, might be listening. So far, we've been met with silence, but that doesn't mean we should stop looking. The search for extraterrestrial life is not just about answering a scientific question, it's about understanding who we are. Every step we take toward exploring the cosmos brings us closer to understanding our own existence. If we find evidence of alien life, it will change everything. But even if we don't, the journey itself is worth it. Because the real question isn't just where are all the aliens, it's what does their absence or their existence say about us. Maybe we are the first intelligent civilization to reach this stage, and the future of life in the universe depends on us. Maybe we are the only ones with the ability to spread beyond our planet and ensure that intelligence survives long after Earth is gone. Or maybe, one day, we'll receive the signal we've been waiting for. Maybe we'll discover that we were never alone, that the universe is teeming with life, and that we are part of something much greater than we ever imagined. Until that day comes, we are left with the silence and the mystery. But mysteries are meant to be solved, so let's keep searching. Let's keep questioning. Let's keep pushing the boundaries of what we know. Because whether we are alone in the cosmos or just one of many civilizations scattered across the stars, one thing is certain: the answer to the Fermi Paradox, whatever it may be, will change humanity forever. If you enjoyed this exploration into the Fermi Paradox, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Storyteller Panda for more deep dives into the mysteries of science, philosophy, and the universe. What do you think? Are we alone, or is intelligent life out there waiting to be discovered? Let's discuss in the comments. Subscribe now to my channel, The Storyteller Panda, and check out my other videos. Until next time, keep wondering, keep searching, and keep looking up. The universe is full of questions. We just have to find the answers.